Good morning, everyone. Nate Martin, MARTON, DPW Commissioner for the City of Buffalo. Thanks for the opportunity to talk a little bit about the storm that we're expecting this weekend. So I just got the phone with National Weather Service about 30 minutes ago to get the latest update. We receive updates from them continually, but a phone call about 30 minutes ago, I've just got the following update that I wanted to share first. So Friday night, tonight into tomorrow morning, up until about daybreak, we're seeing an unorganized band, but it's still going to drop a few inches of snow to Saturday to Saturday morning. Saturday throughout the day is when that band is really going to be organized, as we're being told, and it's going to drop significant amounts of snow in the city, southern parts of the city. It'll drop snow across the city, but more focused in the southern parts of the city. And the indications are, from what the National Weather Service tells us, that Broadway might be that sort of dividing line. North of that, a little less snow, and again, to the southern parts of the city, the heavier snow. So Saturday night, the snow will slow and start to move into the south towns and really kind of pause there from a significant snowfall level. And then Sunday to Monday, maybe an inch or two, scattered throughout the area overall. So that's what we're hearing from the National Weather Service about the snow itself today for this weekend. We do see a potential, they're telling us a potential of up to 12 to 18 inches of snow in the southern parts of the city where that heaviest snow band might accumulate, and it might drop into Orchard Park as well. As we know, we've all been talking about the snow for the Bills game this weekend. So the southern parts of the city will get that heaviest amount, but all aspects of the city, areas of the city, we expect to get some snow through the course of the weekend. So in terms of our response, our DPW fleet is geared up and ready to respond. It will not be a repeat in terms of the volume of snow that we saw from the November storm, but our fleet is ready. We'll have crews out tonight pre-salting. This is a good amount of snow from an early standpoint to do some pre-salting, and then ramping that up throughout the course of the evening to have in the neighborhood of, I think it's going to be about 30 heavy-duty vehicles, those plows and lifts clearing streets across the city once the snow really starts to organize itself. So from an assistance from New York State, we've had conversations with them up to this morning already. We'll have another conversation with them this afternoon, coordinating their assistance. We're anticipating some of their assistance throughout the storm. We're just coordinating exactly what that's going to be. And in terms of kind of this storm, as I referenced, it's less than what we saw in November, that historic level, so we're not looking at a hauling process. It's really going to be a clearing process. Again, the north, the east, and south, the areas of the city that hit a little bit less, a relatively easier time clearing. That heavier band, it's going to be a little bit hard to plow, but we will be able to plow it, so we do not anticipate a hauling operation today. In terms of a topic that I know has been discussed a lot, and we've been working on it, the GPS system. So the system is still functional. It was functional last storm, so it was always operational. It was always public facing. We've been working on it since we had the update after the last storm. We continue to work on it daily. We've been improving the system. The reporting accuracy is there, so we're more highly functional and more accurate than we were in the last storm. So we'll see that be, I think, a better product from the resident standpoint that we see with more accuracy. So like I said, we've been working on that. And then just the topics, garbage. We don't anticipate any impact to sanitation and recycling next week at all, so that's not anything that we necessarily expect at this point in time. But if something changes with the ban, we'll adjust as we would with our response overall in the city and the DPW. So I guess with that summary, I'll open up with any questions.
Nate, how beneficial is it that it's not as wide of a snow band as it was last month? How does this allow you guys to prepare for South Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean, the breadth of coverage is a concern, right, to be able to clear that much. So a narrow band allows you to focus a little bit more on those heavy areas. We still need to respond to the entire city. So we're not ignoring any parts of the city, so we are going to cover them. But the tighter it is, the more focus you can have on that removal. So it does allow us to respond a little bit differently, and we take each storm kind of pretty uniquely. I mean, that's the goal. Look and see what's coming. Don't apply the same approach to every storm. They're all different. So the narrower band allows us to pinpoint a little bit better.
Can you give us more detail about the game plan and the resources and where those resources will be allocated to in terms of preparation and also dealing with the actual snowfall?
Yeah, so in terms of the kind of response of where the equipment will be, we are going to have equipment across the city. So the whole city will get hit with some snow. So certainly the coverage of the entire north, south, east, and west parts of the city is important from a DPW standpoint, from a city standpoint. As it shifts, as it develops, we'll funnel resources as we need to those areas where they're being more impacted. So it's an adjustment as we go and the timing as we go. So we won't say at a certain time of day or night that we're going to move equipment. We'll move that as we get details of the storm.
How many trucks are going to be on the road, either salting trucks and plows?
Yeah.
Can you give us a number?
Yeah, so I just briefly mentioned that, I think, earlier in my comments. So we're going to have around 30. At that number, we're kind of pinpointing, but that's that max ramp up that we're going to see. As that snow progresses and storm progresses tonight, we're going to be ramping up the response to accommodate it.
Any snow plows that you guys, private snow plows that you guys are bringing in, or anything like that, or not this time because it's not as
Yeah, not this time. Again, we'll adjust if something happens mid-storm. We always have that ability to adjust, but we don't see this storm, from what we're hearing, as that kind of a need.
I think the governor said last storm, from a state standpoint, if 1 to 2 inches is falling each hour, that's a good rate of snow speed to be able to keep up with the streets. Is that the same for the city?
That's the kind of a common number for the plow, for the size and type of equipment that we have. That's a common for any really municipality. So that 1 to 2 inches is a good rate. Last storm, 3, 4, 5 or 6 inches an hour. That's that heavy amount that it's just hard to move any piece of equipment or even that larger equipment. So this is a rate that our equipment can handle with that rate of snow.
Yeah, I think
I'm sorry, any advice from residents? Because there'll be fewer cars since it's hitting on a Friday into the weekend, but any advice for people in their homes?
It's a great point, and I appreciate you bringing that up, certainly. From our standpoint, from a safety standpoint, if you don't have to drive, it's always good to stay home, especially if there's snowfall expected. But if you do go out, please use extra caution. Give yourself space between vehicles. If you're heading to the game, and we know a lot of people are heading to the game, plan a little bit of extra time. Drive cautiously, drive slower. Just be careful. We want everybody to get to the game and home from the game safely. So just plan for a little extra time and don't be in a rush. So that would be the request from our standpoint.
on that sort of same note, during your debrief from the last storm, you and the mayor spoke about how residents need to have normal expectations. They can't expect you guys to hit every road in X amount of period. But last storm wasn't normal. This is a more normal storm we're expecting. What are the expectations for residents?
Yeah, so normal I'll say normal with a little caveat, right? So less snow, northern parts of the city. That's a standard line you'll hear probably with most snowstorms in Buffalo. Heavier in the south. So we're going to be hitting all parts of the city at once, and how we get through mains and secondaries. The key is always to maintain those mains and secondaries, and once those are more under control, then you can spread out. So the expectation is we're going to be on the roads, clearing streets, all parts of the city, focus more in the south towns. But if there are those heavier amounts of snow, it just takes us longer. The narrower streets, the heavier amounts, so we're going to be moving our equipment through. So expectation is you will see our equipment. Less amounts, it's easier to get through, quicker turn times on our routes, larger amounts of snow, a little slower turn, just the nature of the snow.
Do you mind just commenting about, and I feel like it's always a good reminder about following parking directions and how it will impact snowplows getting down side streets if people don't follow them?
Yeah, that certainly is a good piece. I mean, the number one caution is driver safety if you're driving and being careful. But the second thing from our standpoint, DPW standpoint, helping all of our residents, all of you, see clearer streets is to follow those parking guidelines, the alternate parking, park on the right side of the road, the correct side of the road, not the right side of the road, the correct side that you need to in your neighborhood at that point in time. That helps our plows have the ability to get through those streets clearly. Again, narrower streets it's harder, I understand that, but that kind of assistance to us is really important.
You were kind of thrown into the deep end of the pool since you've taken over as head of DPW. You had a major snowstorm to start. Does this make it easier, or do you have a better idea of how to handle this now that you've gone through something that was obviously an historic storm?
Yeah, I won't, so I appreciate the comment. I won't use the word easier because I think that might give a sense that we're going to take a different approach or maybe a less intense approach. Every storm that's going to come up, every snowfall expected, we're going to take very seriously. I know I personally am and our department will. So yeah, this is different. It doesn't appear that we're going to get a historic level of any, to that extent that we had. But we are going to get some serious amounts of snow. So we're going to look at this one separately, focus our resources, move pieces around as we need to, and make adjustments. So for me and for our department, it'll just be a continual adjustment depending on which, what the storm is doing, and then during the storm to react to it.
What did you learn from the first storm that informs how you handle this?
Well, just in terms of personal knowledge of equipment, in terms of our streets and the ability to handle it, that level of height of where we need to haul versus plowing was a lesson learned. Again, we won't see that this time, we don't think. And certainly the cooperation of all of our residents was great for me to learn. So many of them helped us by parking appropriately and using caution and staying off the roads as they could. That was a great help. So I think from my standpoint, learning about our department and then learning about our community and how much they pull together and help each other. So.